Hey everyone, Tony Ivanov here with another video lesson, and today I'm going to go over exactly how to use EquityFeed to scan for penny stocks. Now EquityFeed is the only scanner I use to find my penny stocks every single day. I use it, all of my students use it, and we've all seen great success by using it. If you want to try it out, there's a free 2-week trial, no credit card needed whatsoever. So you can download it, try it out for 2 weeks. You can make your money free for 2 weeks if you pick the right penny stocks. And if you don't like it in the end, you won't get charged. There will be no hidden fee. You will not get charged automatically because they do not require your credit card to download it. So I highly recommend you check it out. It's the first link down below. So let me just move everything out of the way here so we can get situated. If you're new to my channel, I really appreciate you stopping by. If you see value in what I teach, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. But yeah, let me just clear everything out real fast. Get this zoomed down to about there. Move this out of the way. Okay. When you download and open up EquityFeed, you will see a screen that looks like this. It's just one little small window. It's called the Launchpad. This is your main menu. This is where you do everything in EquityFeed. This is where you pick all your tools and stuff like that. So just going to break it down from top to bottom. This section is where you find stocks. This section is where you follow stocks, so you can have watch lists, alerts, and stuff like that. And then you can actually hook up your broker with EquityFeed and trade using only EquityFeed. So if you use TD Ameritrade, you don't have to use Thinkorswim to trade. You could use this program, EquityFeed. So that could just lessen the load. Whatever computer you're using, maybe it's not as high-end as others. So if you have a whole bunch of programs running that stream real-time news and information, what that does is it slows down your overall computer and makes you get worse entries and exits. And we don't want that when we're day trading. We want to be as fast as possible. So yeah, that is one great option about using this program. So basically, if you have TD Ameritrade or you have interactive brokers, you can just click on these and hook up your broker and trade just through this. So this little menu right here is basically how you can manage your account. You can manage your preset layouts. You can manage your system settings. You can close all the windows, and you can contact the support team. So first, I'm just going to go into Market View, and Market View is basically just overall view of the entire market. You can set what you want to look at, so like which market. You can look at NASDAQs, OTC, and pink sheets. You can look at the different stock types. So if you just want regular securities, you hit this button and just check off regular securities, and you can choose from a whole bunch of different ones. Now when I do my scans, I don't really mess with this. I just leave them all selected, and then I'll just go through them and see which ones I like and don't like. So next, you can check out the filters. So this is how you can really narrow down what stocks you want to see. So say I want to only look for stocks that are, I don't know, $1 to $10. I'll hit filter now, and you can see the entire list changed, and now we're only looking at stocks between $1 and $10, and you can do this with a whole bunch of different filters. You can do volume, you can do how many trades were placed in that specific day. You can do dollar volume, which is really useful to see how liquid the stock is. You can do the day range. You can see where the moving averages are. You can see the daily volume, and you can see the daily range, so how much the stock fluctuates. I'll go into these way more in detail in a couple minutes. And then you can choose time frame too, so you can look to see if you want to look at the price action of today. So because it's Saturday today, it's showing me the price action on Friday. Or you could look at historical data, so you can hit this button and look at the market on Thursday. So it's very useful if you want to do some research and stuff like that. And you can also just do a quick search for company names and tickers, and you can choose, like, let's say I don't know why, but let's have a stock that the ticker symbol starts with B or D, I mean. Hit submit. Ticker symbol D not found. Okay, I guess it doesn't work like that. Anyways, that's kind of a useless feature. Anyways, you could also look at sectors. So you can look at, let's say we want to look at the drug sector, so the biotech industry. You hit that, and it has all the biotech stocks. You can do this for any industry in the world. You can do financial services, you can do media, you can do tobacco, all that stuff. And also you can look at ETFs, which is not really relevant when you're trading penny stocks, but you have that option. You can look at the indexes too. Once again, not really relevant when you're penny stocking. And the short view is basically just a really broken down way of seeing the same stuff. So there's market view. I don't ever use market view. I see no value in it. I don't want to look at all the stocks on the market. I want to look at the ones that I want to search for. And I know that you can make filters and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's just too clunky, too much stuff. Next up is a news streamer. Now I use this one every single day. And this is, the way that you can find news right when it's released. So this is what it looks like when it pops up. As you can see, we have the same layout. You can choose from markets, you can choose from stock types, you can choose the news types too. So if you want to look at news, you can check that. If you want to look at filings, you can check that. And if you want to look at the promotions, you can check that as well. I never check that because I don't want to find promotions. Those are pump and dumps. But say you want to like just look at news, uncheck this, changes it, and now it's only news releases. Same thing with filings. Say you only want to look at filings, uncheck news, and now you can see it's all filings. But like I said, I just have these both always checked. Then you can look at the filters too. So like I said, you can have different price range, volume, trades, dollar volume, day range, moving average, average daily volume, and daily ranges. And you can look for keywords too. I don't use this yet. I probably will be using it soon, and once I do, I will leave a file for you guys. But so I run two news streamers. I have one that looks for NASDAQs, and I have one that looks for OTC penny stocks. So let's just make one right now that's just for NASDAQs. So first what you want to do is you want to go down here in the bottom right hand corner, and you can rename it. So just name it NASDAQ News. And now for NASDAQs, we don't want to look at the OTC, we don't want to look at pink sheets. So let's check NASDAQ. Here on the stock type, I don't care. Let's leave them all checked. News types, once again, you leave both of these checked. And filters is where I do my filters. So when I'm looking at NASDAQs, I look at any stock from 50 cents to $10. That's my ideal range. Volume. So volume is kind of a complicated thing to do when you're doing streams, but I don't use volume. First of all, I use dollar volume. So say you're making a scan in pre-market. In pre-market, there is a very low amount of traders who trade in pre-market. So that means that the stocks on average will have very low dollar volume. So you don't want to have a very large filter for dollar volume. So what I generally do is in pre-market, I don't have any dollar volume filter. I just rank my stocks from the time of the news release, because I want to see all the releases first, because say there's some amazing news in pre-market, I want to see it pop up right there, and I want to be able to take action and possibly buy it. Now when we get into the actual market open, that's when you start to raise your dollar volume value. Now, because the news streamer is mainly meant to find news when it's released, I don't raise this up that high at all. So when the market's open, I'll put it at $10,000 worth of volume. I know that's very low for NASDAQs because they trade tens of millions, but what this basically filters out is any news release that it just doesn't do anything to the stock. So filter now. Now you can see that changed the values here. Okay, so that's how we do our actual news stream. And then yeah, you can use this little bar here to adjust the window, and whenever you click on a stock, it will pull up the news release. So you can see news release here, all filled out. Just go down the list and you can look at all these news releases. And when you click on a filing, it will open up the actual filing from the SEC. So that's very, very valuable. Now, if you want to change the actual columns, all you got to do is you right click and you can say insert column. Here, let's go to default real fast. So this is how it usually looks when you open it up. Mine's preset. So you have time, you have the symbol, you have the headline, you have the last trade value, and the volume. So what I do is I always like to add the float and the dollar volume and percent change. So you can see we go to level 1 and there's percent change. Add that, right click again, insert column, level 1. Now we do dollar volume. Now the last one that I add is float. So we go to insert volume again, we go to the share structure and we put float. Now we have everything that is needed to see how well a stock is and how much you could have it run, because like I've said, we only want to scan for low float stocks or trade low float stocks. Now with the news streamer, you cannot have a value here that chooses float. So you're going to see all the stocks regardless of your float. That's one kind of bad thing about the news streamer, but when you use the filter builder, you can filter those out. So there's the NASDAQ news streamer. That's exactly how I have my NASDAQ streamer built. So if you want to save this, you can go down here to the bottom and you hit save configuration. Now it's saved. If you want to make this a preset layout, what you can do is you go to open layout manager and it's going to have this thing pop up. You hit create new layout and you let's say NASDAQ trading, and you can save this with multiple different windows, and we'll get into that in a second. I just want to introduce that idea. So if you want to trade OTC BB penny stocks, then we just have to change the market value or the markets. So we uncheck NASDAQ, we check OTC BB and pink sheets. The stock type we leave alone, news type we leave alone, and we only have to change the filters. So with OTCs, I like to scan from anywhere from 0.0005 up to 50 cents. And like I said, when I'm doing a news scan, I generally don't like to have a dollar volume preset, because then you cannot see the news right when it's released. So we'll just leave that at 10,000 right now. You hit filter now, and then you can see all the stocks in between 0.0005 and 50 cents that had a news release on Friday. So when you have these columns, you can left click on them, and then you have it ranked by whatever that column is. So right now it's ranked by the alphabet. We click the time one. Now it's ranked by the time it was released. The percent change, same thing. You click that. Now it ranks all the ones that had the highest change in percentage. And you can click it again, and it shows you the ones that dropped the most. Same thing with dollar volume. Lowest dollar volume, highest dollar volume. Float, same thing. Highest float, lowest float. It's all the same thing. So that's how I make my scans for news releases on OTCs. So let's close out this. Actually, let's leave it up so we can make a little setup here. Never mind. I thought my camera was covered, but it's on top always. Okay, so next one, let's look at the stock scanner. Now, I did use this, but I've stopped using it since then because now I use the filter builder. But this is just a very basic way you can make a filter for stocks. So first what we do is we go to the custom filters and we just let's make a NASDAQ filter. You select your markets, we want NASDAQ only. The stock type we leave alone, and say let's just look for the same type of stocks. So we look for any NASDAQ stock from 50 cents up to $10. We want to look at dollar volume. So let's say we're scanning this midday. By the time it's midday, I would want to only scan stocks that have a dollar volume of at least 300,000. Now, when the market opens, I like to put this at a range from around 10,000 to 100,000. It just depends on how liquid the market is that day. But basically the reason why we have this scan is so we can see the stocks that are running the fastest. So that's all we really need for this news scanner, or not news scanner, stock scanner. Like I said, this one is very basic. You can also scroll down and you can choose the action that we want to scan. So you can see the gain that it had. So the gain is greater than, let's say, 5% relative to the close. So now if we hit scan, we will only see stocks that are up at least 5%. And this is true for any of these boxes that you check. So for the spread, we can see the spread, which is the bid spread, and the ask, the spread between the bid and the ask. So let's say we want it less than a 5% spread. I never use this, but I'm just giving you examples of what you can do. Same thing, you can do share volume, you can do greater than the volume averages and yesterday's total volume, so that may be useful for some people. But there's just a bunch of different ones you can use. I'm not going to break down every single one because they're all kind of self-explanatory. But yeah, there's a lot. So if you want to save this one, you just hit save filter. Let's do NASDAQ demo. Saving. And now it says saved. Now we just run results, and now we have a nice little scanner that shows us our stocks. Now if the market was open, this would be constantly changing. We would see new ones come up, we would see ones fall off, and stuff like that. And same thing as the last news streamer. If we want to change these columns, we just right click on a column, and we don't really need to see the bid and ask, we just want to see the last price. So we can remove ask, we can remove bid. We don't care about the company name, so let's just remove that too, save some space. And we don't care about the net change because we care about the dollar, or the percent change. Okay, now we need to add dollar volume. And one thing I don't like about using the stock scanner in specific is that you cannot look at the float. There's no option for the share structure, which is kind of weird. I don't know why it's like that. So that's why I no longer use this stock scanner, but I'm just going to show you guys how to use it just in case you want to use it. So, just like last time, you can rank from the symbol name, you can rank from the last traded price, you can rank from dollar volume, and you can rank from percent change. Now when I'm using this, the stock scanner, I look for the percent change. So I always have it ranked from the highest percent change down. So there's the streaming filter. If you want to change any values, you can just hit go back, and now you can modify your values. For OTC stocks, so let's have this filter cleared, and let's make a new one. So for OTCs, we do not want to look at NASDAQs. The stock type, we don't care, we can leave it alone, and then same values as the news streamer. So 0.0005 to 50 cents, and then the dollar volume, if it was midday on the OTC market, I want to scan for stocks with at least $200,000 in dollar volume. So let's just add that in. And then, you know, the same thing goes for down here. You can look for stocks that have the last price within a range. You can look at the change, you can look at the spread, you can look at the liquidity, price momentum, and so on. So let's just save this one as OTC demo. Cannot type today. Hit OK. Now it's saying it's saved right here. Now we hit run filter results, and now you can see all the OTC stocks that are in between 0.005 and 50 cents, and they have a dollar volume of at least 200,000. So if we rank from dollar volume here, the lowest one is $200,161. So you can see the filter is working. When I'm looking at OTC stocks, I always rank from dollar volume, not percent change, because you can look at percent change and there will be some that are not very liquid. I like to look at dollar volume, mainly because when I'm trading OTCs, I want to trade the most liquid stocks. I want to be able to get in and get out and, you know, not really have the price change because of my position. So there's the stock scanner. Now the one that I actually use and the one that I love to use recently is the filter builder. Now this one is pretty advanced, as you can see. You can make your own filter, you can make your own presets, you can do a lot with this. So if it's overwhelming for you, you can use preset filters that the company provides for us. So there's a big list that we can choose from. We can choose from the biggest percent gainers, dollar gainers, the biggest gainers over the past 3 days, over the past 5 days, by exchange, earnings in the past 24 hours, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, for what I use on this builder is I have one that is a NASDAQ scanner and one that's an OTC scanner. Now the values I use are the exact same as the last one, although for this one you can use float as a filter too, which makes it very powerful. So let me just break down exactly how to use this. First, you have to you choose your parameters. So first, price data. Let's go to the price. The first thing that we need to scan for is what the price is. So we go to the last traded price. Now we can choose an operator. So that means a greater than, less than, or equal to. So we want to look for stocks that are greater than 50 cents. Add to query. Hit last again. Now we want to look for ones that are less than $10. Add that. Now this filter is scanning for all NASDAQs that are in between 50 cents and $10. But we want to have more filters. So we close out the price. And now let's look at the percent change. Say we want to only look at stocks that are up at least 5% on the day. So we do percent change. We select an operator. We do greater than 5 for 5%. Add to query. Now it's scanning for all stocks in between 50 cents and $10 that are up at least 5%. But we want to do more. So now we want to look at the fundamentals. I think it's under. Yeah, fundamentals. And dollar volume too. Let's do dollar volume first. Dollar volume, we hit a liquidity. Then there's a drop down menu. You hit dollar volume. And we always want to look at the day's volume. We don't want to look at the average volume because that can get very skewed. Because say a stock was barely traded its whole history, and then boom, they have an insane news release and a whole bunch of volume ramps up. Well, if the past year there's been 10,000 shares traded and today there's 10 million, the data will be skewed so far over to 10,000, so it may not get picked up. So that's why we only want to look at day's volume, because we're day traders. We only care about that specific day. So we add day's volume, we do greater than, and like I said, at least 300,000 when it's midday. This changes when it's at the market open. So you will have to make a bunch of different scanners. So like one's the pre-market scanner, one is a morning scanner, one is a midday, and one is power hour. But I'm only going to make one because all you got to do is copy it, change the values, and I think you guys can figure that out. So we add the dollar volume value, and we also want to add one that looks at float. So we go down to fundamentals and we do share structure, bring that down, hit float. We want to look at, now for NASDAQs, a low float is anything that's less than 20 million in float. Now the lower the better, of course. So we just do less than 20 million. Add that, and now our scanner is done. Now you can go a lot more in depth with this. They have a lot of different parameters that you can choose from. So you can see price, change, percent change, the highs, the lows, the range, the open and the close, and then for liquidity, volume, dollar volume, average daily volume, the trades, where'd it go? Oh, that was it. And then fundamentals, you can look at the financials, so the revenue, gross profit, the cash that they have, and you can look at share structure, so you can look at the market cap, shares outstanding, flow, and the percent of trades, or the percentage of stocks that are held by insiders and held by institutions. And then you can look at the short interest too. And you can also look at the technical overlay. So this is very, very advanced. You can look at indicators, or you can look at overlap studies. So the overlap studies are basically your moving averages, your VWAP, Bollinger Bands, all that stuff. And then your indicators are stuff like stochastics, MACD, and all that type of stuff. Now when I'm scanning, I don't want to use this, but I use these overlays heavily when I'm looking at my charts. But we will not get into that right now. So close everything out. And okay, we want to save this filter. We save it as NASDAQ demo. I don't know what that was. Let's run the filter. Voice cracked right there. And now you can see we have a very, very advanced scan here. So you can see with this scan, you can add float, which is amazing. So with my scans, I always put the symbol and I put the news, because I want to see the stocks that have news releases, because those ones are the most likely to run very high. I have the last traded price, I have the dollar volume, I have the float, I have the percent change, I have the share volume, and I have the number of trades. So you can see MARK had news. If you want to look at if you want to look at the news, you can click on the number and it brings up a little box that has the news. If you want to look at the actual news release, you can double click this and it'll pop up another window with the news so you can read it. Very useful. And then so there's the filter builder for NASDAQs. Now if you want to scan for OTCs, it's the same exact thing, just change the values. With OTCs, I don't scan for float because the numbers can be very, very inaccurate. So for OTCs, I only scan for the range, so the price, I mean, which is the same as the last stock scanner that we did, and I look for dollar volume. HS, the reason why I like to use the filter builder for NASDAQs is so you can see the float. So just in case there is a stock on the OTC that has its float updated, you can see it, which is, you know, very useful. And, you know, like I said, you can change the name and all that good stuff. So let's just bring this over here. Let's leave this right here. And then the next one I love to use is the trading alerts. So this one, it's a real-time alerter on stocks. So same thing as before, you can choose the markets, NASDAQ OTC pink sheets, you can choose the stock type, you can have different filters, you can have alert settings. So say you want to load all the alerts from 9:30 a.m. or you want to only have it do alerts based on stocks on your watch list, so you can do that as well. And also, say a stock is breaking out constantly to new highs, if you check show recurring highs, it'll keep showing new high, new high, new high, which I really recommend because then it'll catch your attention. So let's leave that checked. And filter by watch list. I don't do this, so I will leave this alone. And you can basically do 5 different scans. You can do new high scans, or I'm sorry, alerts. You can do new high alerts, you can do new low alerts, you can do price breakouts, you can do volume breakouts, and you can do block trades, which is very useful for OTCs. I'll only make one for NASDAQs right now, but it's just the same values as before. So filters, anything from 0.50 to, let's do $10. Now, because this is one that sends out alerts, I want to have a higher dollar volume because I don't want to have alerts on stocks that are untradeable. So just leave this at 50,000 if the market's open, and then by midday, you know, like I said, 300,000. So we do a filter now. It's not going to show us any alerts right now, but the way that we choose our alerts is we hit this button, and now you can see you can choose from new highs of the day, new high for the past 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, and all the way going down to the year. So that's very useful. We can also do new lows. So say you're a dip buyer and you like to buy stocks that are falling very hard, you can do day low, you can do the past 5 days, past 10 days, and so on. Now the price breakout, I don't really understand what this means because new highs is a price breakout. I really don't know what price breakout does, so I just leave it alone. I don't touch it. Yeah, I don't touch it. Volume breakout, it shows you the volume breakout of breaking out of the average volume. So say you check 5 days, it'll show you if the volume for that day is over the volume of the past 5 days. Now, I don't use this because, like I said, the stocks that I'm trading, they better be breaking out of the past 5 days volume because they should be very liquid and have hype or news behind it. So I leave those unchecked. And you know, for NASDAQs, I don't use block trades. So basically only for NASDAQs, I only look for new highs and new lows. And then if it's a good stock, I'll have it pop up here, and then I will take action on it. Now the thing with the trading alerts is that the columns that you can use are very, very limited. So you cannot add percent change, you cannot add the float, you can't add dollar volume. So it's pretty restrictive on what it can do. So I just have it ranked by time, and then you know, whenever one pops up, I'll look at it. If it's cool, I'll check it out with my charts. If not, I'll ignore it. So that's the first section of finding stocks. Now this is the only section I use because everything else I use through eTrade Pro. But I will still go over it because I want to teach you guys everything about this platform and what it can do. So let's just close all these out. I didn't want to close all those out, damn it. Oh well, I'll leave this one up. So the second part, following stocks. So you can have a montage, a chart montage. So what this has is the chart and level 2. So bring this up. Now you can see there's a very nice chart here. There's level 1 data, there's time and sales. Now you can have level 2, but it costs extra with EquityFeed, and because I already have level 2 with eTrade Pro, I don't have it activated. But you can use this chart just like any other chart. Let's type in the symbol, let's do BTCS. And it'll bring up all the data of BTCS. First things first, we do not trade based on line charts, we use candlesticks. So let's change that by going here and do candles. So now we have a candlestick chart. I don't know how to zoom in. Let's do the past day. There we go. So now we can see the action of the day. So this chart, you cannot scroll side to side, which is kind of lame, but it is what it is. So you can do from different days. Let's do 1 year. The 1 year chart shows us the 1 year chart, and you can also have all the different overlay indicators. So you can have moving average, Bollinger Bands, VWAP, stochastics, and all that stuff. So I go over all of those in my other videos, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to talk about that right now. And also you can draw on the chart, so it's very good because we're day traders using technical analysis. We need to be able to draw trend lines. So if you want to draw a trend line, you just click and then you hold, drag it across. If you want to delete it, right click it, hit delete. There we go. We can do a horizontal line. So let's say we want to draw this out, that top. Want to drop support right here, support right here. Very, very intuitive, and you can do a bunch of different ones. So you can do channels, rectangles, use Fibonacci, sorry, and if you want to just clear out the chart, you hit delete all, and it'll clear the whole thing. Now this button right here, it shows volume, so you can choose to hide the volume bar if you want. I don't know why you would, but you can do that. And also you have an option of showing pre-market. So if you're on a NASDAQ stock and you want to look at the pre-market action, you can hit this button and it will bring up the pre-market. And you can also save your settings. So say you have a bunch of different overlay studies and different indicators on there, you can hit that button and it will save it. And also you can make it full screen, so you can have just a chart on here, remove everything else. Don't know where the other thing went. Oh well. You can see the news on this, you can see level 2, you can see the averages, the pivot points, trading. Here's where you can buy and sell it. So say you have your broker connected, you go right here to the trading tab and you can buy, you can sell, you can short, you can cover, you can choose the quantity, and you can choose the type. So when you hit limit, it'll bring up, there it is, it'll bring up the different stuff for that. And then you hit confirm if you want to buy or sell. You can also look at the fundamentals of the company on this tab. So you can see the name, you can see the exchange it's traded on, sector, industry, the state, the country, and so on. You can see the share structure, you can see the financials, and the short interest. Now you can have a separate window that has time and sales, but if you're going to use the charts on this platform, you might as well just have it on the chart montage. And I don't even know where it is. It's not popping up. Not popping up. Okay. Hit watch list and you can make a watch list. So you can add different stocks. So let's just add BTCS. Oh, I gotta make a watch list first. Okay. Create watch list. Just do stocks that are related to Bitcoin. So let's do BTCS, type it in, press enter, and it adds it. Now you can see all the data of that stock. And like I mentioned before, you can change these columns, but I'm not going to do that again because we're running out of time. GAHC, GBTC, what else is there? MGTI, BITCF, DIGAF, and so on. And also you can see the news here. So say you only really care about stocks on your watch list, and you don't need to look at any other news. You can just have your watch list open, and if there's news released, it'll pop up right here. And you can change the news type, so you can do news, filings, promotions, and earnings. And of course you can change the columns on here. So yeah, there's watch lists. And if you want to save it, just hit this. Oh no, it saves automatically, so that's perfect. And if you have multiple watch lists, you can look at your watch lists and change between them. So there's watch lists. Level 2 quotes, I'm not going to go into that because that's on the chart montage. And you can have personal alerts. So say you're a swing trader, or you see a stock that has a daily chart that has a very nice breakout level that you want to track. It's opened up right here. You can type in the symbol, BTCS. I love that stock for some reason. And we want to see if the last price is equal to or greater than, let's say we want to see the breakout of 13 cents. That was the very big breakout. Let's do a multi-day breakout. We hit add, and now it'll pop up there. And when the alert happens, it'll pop up over here. It'll pop up as a window to alert you that that stock has reached your level. If you want to look at the stocks that have been triggered already, you can look on this tab. And of course, you can save this. You can, look at the settings and save it on your layout manager. So say you want to save this screen, you do create new layout, and say let's just do penny stocks. Hit enter. Now it's going to be saved in our list, penny stocks. Let's do close, and then say we want to just have all these close out, and let's reopen EquityFeed. Say let's reopen it. Next time you open it, because you have it saved, you can just hit this little window here, hit layout manager, and load your layout of penny stocks. Hit load, and it'll bring up exactly how you left it. So that's very useful. So that's a complete in-depth guide on how to use EquityFeed. Like I said, you can click the link down below, and there's a free 2-week trial, no credit card needed whatsoever. If you guys saw value in this, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, we have a group on Discord. It'll be a link in the description for that as well. You guys have a great weekend.